Hi, everyone. I am very excited to be introducing you to a company that's doing something that's really rethinking enterprise software. My name is Valerie Canafo. I lead sales for the commercial segment West for AWS. And Nextworld is a business applications platform company. They created for enterprise. They created a no-code platform powered by AI, leveraging SageMaker, running on AWS. But what struck me when I talked with Nextworld team to better understand their application was the immediacy and the scope of the impact when they implemented this. For their customers, it meant an augmentation of capabilities. It enabled non-technical people to support and create new applications. It gave them the opportunity to get time to market quicker, and it lowered their cost. And for Nextworld, the impact was equally as impressive. It increased stickiness and adoption from their customers. They saw an immediate increase in revenue, and they saw an improvement in quality of the results that they were driving. So I'm very happy to introduce Luke Hollenbeck from Nextworld. He's a senior director of engineering and AI, and what he and his team did and led was create a pretty incredible platform that builds and deploys AI models that actually work. So please welcome Luke to the stage.
Thanks, Val. Yeah, so like Val introduced me here, I'm Luke, over a lot of the teams that do our back-end services and our AI facilities. And that's all at Nextworld, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about what we are so you have a better idea before we get into what we actually did using AWS. So like Val said, we are a platform for building and running enterprise-grade applications. We're all cloud-based. You interact with us on the browser, and we're AI native, which is really important for this story. So when I say that, what I mean is you use AI to help you build your applications. We have, assistants and so on in the form of agents, and they can take natural language and they'll build apps for you and you iterate with them. Kind of that co-pilot experience that we've all been familiar with over the past year or two. We have a ton of facilities to bake AI into the applications that you build, ranging all the way from traditional machine learning, AutoML, which we'll talk about today, up to modern agentic, LLMs, vision models. We have a whole multi-agent system. We have Ed is our chat bot, but he's agent number 0, and he can actually let you interact with a team of agents underneath him, all for business applications. And then the third tier of that is that any application that you build on Nextworld is automatically exposed via AI. We have MCP automatically exposing anything you build to Ed on platform or to anything off platform. So everyone's trying to come up with an AI strategy for their company right now. People are struggling to figure out what that means, but they know how to build business applications. All you got to do on Nextworld is build that business app, and you'll automatically have AI strategy baked in. We're enterprise grade. I won't get too far into that, but it's a league of its own, right? Everything's audited. It's all managed infrastructure. You don't need to stand it up or manage it or watch it yourself. And honestly, the Nextworld platform, it's a generic, powerful platform for business apps of any kind, but it has an ERP heritage. If you know what that means, it's enterprise resource planning, sales, inventory, financials, a lot of really heavy, complex business apps. We were built from that from the ground up, which means our capabilities are pretty robust. But let's talk about machine learning and AutoML. So for a while, we've actually had a traditional machine learning facility. So everything on the Nextworld platform is no code. You go in, you drag and drop. It's geared towards the citizen developer, if you will. We don't want you to have to be a software engineer to build stuff on the platform, although you can be. We have a lot of advanced facilities too. So we've had traditional machine learning facilities for a while. They let you pick an algorithm, train a model, turn knobs and switches, deploy it, test it, all the traditional data science workflow, but it's catered towards a persona that is experienced and educated in data science, right? It also takes a lot of time to do that. The cycle time to actually build a model, train it, get it to an accuracy that you feel good about, that's production viable, and then solution it and deploy it into a production pipeline, it's pretty costly. It can take weeks at the minimum, right? So we started exploring this concept out in the wild called AutoML. And what it really does is it automates that whole data science lifecycle for you. It does the feature engineering for you. It picks algorithms, it tunes them for you, and ultimately it gives you candidates of models that you can then deploy, solution, do reinforcement learning on, and so on in the real business app. We did two things when we started exploring this. We had our team of data scientists first go and start trying to build it ourselves. And we had a whole design out. They were hitting the ground running. We got decently far, but in parallel, we started looking at other solutions, buy versus build, and AWS SageMaker Autopilot came to the top. And we quickly realized SageMaker Autopilot was going to be everything we wanted and then more. It had all the AutoML stuff, and it had a bunch of other non-negotiables that we needed to integrate. We're a multi-tenant platform. There's a lot of automated ops that has to happen. We don't want humans having to do infrastructure stand-up and management. SageMaker AutoML enabled that, and we'll talk about that in a bit. We released our AutoML product, which I'll talk about the architecture in a minute. Stick with me. But we released our AutoML product and immediately saw value. So we have the pleasure of being a part of the solution architecture of a number of our customers' products, basically, their apps. And in doing that, we were able to see real improvements in both build time and accuracy. Across a number of them, on average, compared to when our data scientists would help them build models and solution them by hand, we actually saw a 95% build time improvement. I mean, we went often from 4 weeks worth of development to like 2 days. And on top of that, we saw average accuracy improvements of 33%. And we attribute that simply to the fact that AutoML is able to iterate through the train, test, tune, train, test, iterate, and bump that accuracy up as high as you can, way faster than a human can. And it does it automatically. So you literally just don't get tired. It just will find something that is honed in to exactly the use case you need. And on top of that, our product owners were able to do this, not our expert data scientists. So domain experts are able to do this using AutoML because they don't need the data science know-how. The machine does it for them. Down on the bottom, this was just valued in Nextworld. So the month that we released AutoML, 10% of our contracts were up for renewal. 100% of those contracts not only renewed, but they actually upsold into AutoML. And on average, that resulted in a 54% contract value increase to us. So there was immediate value for this in our customer base. That's continued. We've still been selling AutoML, upselling it. We have people demoing it today. Our sales engineers are out there using it at conferences and so on. It's awesome. It's been one of the most surprising success stories in our product line. Let's zoom into one of our stories, though. So one of our customers actually came to us, and they basically take data on cadavers of people that have passed away, and they try to figure out what the viability for transplanting organs from them is. And they have to figure it out quickly, right? It's a time-sensitive matter, lives are at stake. They had a solution that was built by hand, completely off Nextworld, and they were around 60% accuracy. When I say accuracy, I'm kind of hand-waving an F1 score. 60%, 58, around that, it's actually not production viable, as many of you probably know. It's a prototype at best. So our data scientists actually went and they used the traditional machine learning facility on Nextworld to build another solution. We were able to achieve like 75-ish% accuracy, and again, I'm hand-waving F1 scores. But production viable, not necessarily super good, especially when you're talking about something life critical, right? Our product owner over the AI space actually then took the data set that we were provided by them, ran it through AutoML, and within 2 days, rather than the 4 weeks it took our data scientist team to actually build that one by hand using traditional ML, they got a 25% more accurate solution. It was tapping 90% accuracy. It only used 12 out of the 120 dimensions that were needed. It was able to just throw away what is that, 100 dimensions, 108 dimensions during feature engineering. And it only took them 2 days. It was 93% faster. So it was a crazy success story. We have many more like this, actually, but this one's the coolest because you think enterprise, but you don't necessarily think life science. This is life science. Yeah, very impressive for us. So let's talk about why. Many of you probably know the top process, right? This is the traditional data science process. You're going to go and gather your data. You're going to manually explore that data by hand, try and figure it out. Hopefully your dimensions are labeled. If they're not, you'll try and make sense of them. And then you're going to do feature engineering. Feature engineering is where you decide which of those dimensions matter and which ones don't. And for the ones that matter, it's where you figure out how much they matter. When you're doing inference in production, you want to know which fields or which columns in your data should be weighted heavier and have more impact on the output prediction and which shouldn't. Then you're going to pick an algorithm. You're going to tune that algorithm and you're going to train your model against it. You're going to test that output against your test data set, get an accuracy score, however you want to judge accuracy, and you're going to iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate for weeks and weeks, and eventually you'll have a model that actually does something, hopefully, that's valuable to the customer or the business, right? You'll deploy it, you'll monitor it, and we're not even talking about actually solutioning it into something that can be in a business process or flow, right? And then can do reinforcement learning in real time. So a lot of work, a lot of high skill work at that. Data scientist or engineer has to be involved. There's no way that a citizen developer or a business analyst in the traditional sense would be able to do this end to end at the high level of accuracy that a lot of solutions require. So then we have AutoML down at the bottom, and all you do is you point to data in Nextworld. It can be data that's actually first class in the system or data that's been integrated in. We have a ton of integration facilities. You pick the features that you want to infer. So you're going to pick the columns that you actually want to be able to predict when you push data through it. And then you're going to click a button. You're going to click Run AutoML. And it's going to sit there and it's just going to cook for a few minutes. Literally minutes. It's not hours, days, weeks, a couple minutes. You'll get a few results back. You'll deploy the model that's optimized properly for your use case. And that's really it. It's that simple. What is cool about our AutoML solution is when you click the button, it does what it does. It gives you 8 options of models at the end, and each one has a different optimization. Our tool will use an LLM to give you a natural language description of what each one is optimized for. And when I talk optimization, I'm really talking about things like false positives, false negatives. If you know a confusion matrix, that's what we're referring to, but we put it in plain language for the business user relevant to their use case, right? To bring that home more, I think everyone knows, COVID tests, when that was the thing, the efficacy of those, when they would say this test has this % false positive, this % false negative, and so on, that's a good parallel to how you want to optimize for different solutions, right? So really just bringing home this complex process to the citizen developer, the business user. And we built it all using SageMaker Autopilot. We had a few non-negotiables, had to be API accessible. Like I said, we're a multi-tenant system. We had to be able to drive it fully in code. We were able to do serverless, which is a big deal for our margins, but also what we pass on to the user. A lot of the time when you're doing AI, and if you have to maintain your hardware and you don't have economies of scale at your side, smaller customers, financially, is just not even viable, right? So the fact that we could use serverless here was a big deal. Already talked about the AutoML tools. That's basically what we just went over. And then model analytics was a bonus that we got that our data scientists loved. That actually gave us not just the data for things like confusion matrices, it also gave us graphical representations, and we didn't have to doctor them up at all. We just pulled those out of S3, where Autopilot dumps them, and we'd stick them right in the UI of our system. So that's catering to that more advanced user. Like I said, we want to build for citizen developers at Nextworld, but our advanced users have a lot to mess with as well. The architecture is dead simple. It really is as simple as here. You have the Nextworld client, browser-based client. Users can run AutoML, get analytics, make inferences. Our servers are actually interacting with Aurora RDS for data. And then they're just hitting serverless endpoints in Autopilot to do inference, or they're hitting compute endpoints to actually do that AutoML training job. And they come up and go down as necessary. Cost saving, like I said, that serverless mechanism. So, I mean, overall, we saw a massive improvement. Like I said, the accuracy of models with AutoML was probably one of the most baffling things to us at first, but it just makes sense once you get into it. It's just able to do more data science and feature engineering and testing, and like it can do the process faster in a shorter amount of time, which means you're going to be able to get to a honed-in accuracy and an optimized model faster and better and so on than a human team can in the same amount of time. And like I said, across all the solutions that we were able to look at and we had the privilege of actually engaging with our customers on, we saw a 95% improvement in build time. And that's from conception all the way to solutioning it and deploying to production. You just basically cut out the like human labor part of the data science process with AutoML. And SageMaker Autopilot has only gotten better and better since we started this product. So, wrapping up here, we saw an insane amount of value both to our customers and to ourselves. Autopilot it's really the only way that we do ML now, and we have a lot of it. Everyone thinks modern AI, LLMs, and so on, but you need more deterministic predictions in business. You need to be able to integrate those into agentic stuff, which you can do on the Nextworld platform. We have a full agent builder, like I said. We have all the LLM and vision capabilities, transcription, you name it. We can do the modern stuff, but the bread and butter stuff actually matters a lot. And it's almost more important in a lot of cases for the business problems that people know. So this added value. It made it so our data scientists could focus on building features for the platform rather than helping people that probably don't have a data scientist on staff actually build solutions that use machine learning. I don't have a ton of time to take a question here, but if anyone would like to chat, I'm actually just going to go hang out in the gray corner over there. I could get into more technical details. I could talk about Nextworld. I know this was fast, but at least walk away, check out Nextworld, check out SageMaker AutoML, Autopilot, I guess. It was AutoML when we first used it. Now it's rebranded. But yeah, thank you for listening.